It was in the time leading up to the solar micronova. The sun was in the height of solar cycle 27. Elon Musk had regular flights to his lunar colony Elysium. World economies were failing. Civil war was in everyone's mind. With no money, little food, and barely housed, only the will to revolt was lacking, if not the method and the opportunity. And it's usually when this kind of failure of nations is when nature itself, operating at its own schedule, lets loose a solar mass ejection and flare at the same time. The Earth, with its reduced magnetic field, could not deflect the particle storm, and millions of transformers on the flare-facing side exploded. Planes fell out of the sky as their electronics were melted mid-flight. And at the same time, the Earth's geomagnetic field tipped over, causing global earthquakes, massive tsunamis, and switched off the electronics all over the Earth. The night all the lights went out. People tried to recover from this global destruction of all orbiting hardware, all telecommunication, all power transmission lines, as they always do, and spent the next 5 years trying to reestablish some level of global connectivity. But it was our pride that would not let us end this vulgar criminal control of the global resources that humankind has devolved into. But this happens on Earth. But this was only the first round. 5 years and 3 months after that solar flare, the 12,000-year clock rang, and the sun's outer atmosphere exploded out into space. 8 minutes later, the light of the explosion reached the Earth at sunset on the west coast of North America, sparing both North and South America from the inferno to follow. But as the Pacific Ocean was turned into vapor under the heat of a blazing supernova star, it condensed in the upper atmosphere and rained down huge blocks of ice, hail, and snow. But in the mountains of Iran, as the sun was rising, the people waking up knew something was drastically, tragically wrong with this sunrise. It came as a vengeance, burning the cities of Asia, Europe, and Africa, the forests, and boiling the sea with the heat of 1,000 suns for 6 to 8 hours. But this is what happens on Earth on a long enough timeline. But that was only round 2. 19 hours later, the debris cloud of the exploding micronova reached our atmosphere at 1,500 miles per second and bombards the sky and land and all man's buildings, turning them into dust and gravel. And that is why we never see the last civilization before this one. This is how it always ends and begins, only to end again. This is how it always ends and begins. This is how it always ends and begins. This is how it always ends.